Hello everyone and welcome back to Amnesia and Machine for Pigs. First things first, I'm sick of increasing the brightness in editing, and also it looks a bit odd. I looked at the previous videos and the brightness looks a bit weird. So I'm just gonna increase it just a tad. That is way too much, I can see everything. I think maybe can't go wrong with that, I don't think. I can see Oswald's entire arm. I'll 1.1. That's fine. I can still see Oswald's entire. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, you know, I'll just leave it like this. If it gets worse, then I'll adjust it again. I just want you guys to be able to see the game, but I also don't want to spend a lot of time on the brightness and just the brightness alone. And alongside that, it just created a weird, foggy effect, but to be honest, that might just be the way the game looks.
I have such visions to share with thee. In my jaw be unshackled, and you harvest the crust from my eyes. Make me clean, madness, that my thoughts and words can unfouled be.
Very interesting. I love the way he slams the phone down when he's done. Again with the pig masks. That you can't pick up, but I really wish you could. Also, I keep putting my lantern down because I'm so used to being like, oh no, I better conserve oil. This thing runs on pure, unfathomable electric power. Not weak, pathetic oil from like 60 years ago. It's not just me, right? Some really ominous music is playing right now. I'll investigate that in just a moment. But then, what if they could stand upright and walk as men? What if the brute were harnessed thus? Would they sing? Would they find their own god? I have seen these things, and I will tell you now, no, they will not. But they will happily accept fealty to a god thrust upon them, and worship it thus given. In this, I realized, they are no different to the masses. They are much the same as us. Once this irrevocable threshold is passed, I understand that we too are shackled and must be set free. To free the man, we cut the man. In order to cross that great evolutionary line, it must first be painted upon the ground. I don't really know what he's talking about. I feel like if I read this more, I'll be able to figure it out, but so let's just deconstruct this in stages, starting with the first lines here. I'm assuming this means, well, quite simply as it states, just say for example an animal was given like human intelligence, for lack of a better word. Would they just automatically find their own god? I'm assuming that's what this is saying. He claims he's seen these things and knows they won. That's also pretty self-explanatory. What he's saying here is really interesting, but I don't get it. For some reason, it's just not clicking with me. I'll get back to that later on, though. Oh, and that ominous music has stopped playing, too. Again with the footsteps, man, I hate them. In America, they talk of building their cities to the skies. To me, this seems folly, but perhaps it is simply a case of a nation founded without a history of its own. We walk upon our histories. They are compacted into the very loam beneath our feet. The engineers we employed talked of this. They talked of how, when building the underground trains, they would often come across older tunnels crisscrossing the capital. What places lie buried beneath us? We are digging, excavating, and reappropriating what we find. At the center of the planet, my architect tells me, there was a grey iron bowl. It is the egg of the world. Once again, another very interesting note. Alright, I have no idea what that was about. What the heck is this? Those aren't fake teeth, are they? And is that the exact same glasses repeated over and over again? What's that drawer about? Whose desk is this? Some desks have a name on them, but this one doesn't seem to have a name on them. I wish it did, though. Well, that's horrifying, but I'm afraid I'm just gonna have to move on from it. No answers for us there. There's definitely a connection being made between animals and humans here, I feel. At least by Oswald himself. I've also noticed potentially some religious vibes in these notes. We integrate the very latest knowledge of chemistry using low levels of laudanum derivative in feed to subdue the product even before the initiation of the process. This means when we drag them from the holding pens onto the line, they are less likely to panic and damage machine components, other products, or themselves. This section of the belt is sheathed in rubber and kept well lit to maintain the good spirits. And we have actually found that the intelligent placement of gramophones and simple acoustic amplification, tubes around the line, means we can use music to further soothe the product. We find Debussy particularly effective in this regard. I believe that may have been what was playing beforehand. I do recall one of the previous notes. Let's see if I can bring it up. Oh dear, I forgot to read this. Just 1 second. All the suggestions of a large workforce, yet no actual signs of life. It is every bit as if someone has attempted to carefully create the illusion of a working factory complex. Yet this facade, when examined closely, is clearly just a falsification. But I must put aside my anxieties, quell the unease that pits my stomach, and continue on my path. What he says here perfectly encapsulates everything that makes this atmosphere so scary. It has a very liminal spaces feel, where you feel like there should be people, lots of people, but there are none. Now, back to what I was saying. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, yes. Local butcher. So this guy is part of a butchery. When he says product, that's obviously animals. So it seems he soothes the animals using a mixture of laudanum and music. That is a very well, I wouldn't know if it's very important, but it's a very interesting thing to keep in mind. Once again, blood everywhere. I don't understand why. I mean, I suppose I do understand why. It's because there's bad things amok, but I don't understand whose blood it is or where it came from or anything. It appears to be some kind of fueling station. I have seen automobiles demonstrated at Mr. Yaham and Mr. Sinem's works, but the smell here is all wrong. This is not petroleum, of that I am sure. Everything suggests to me that this machine must be significant in some way. Lots of pig carcasses. Ordinarily I'd find that bizarre, but considering we're in a butchery... No, not here too! Why? So this game must use the same engine as a machine as the Dark Descent, because the legs on these things are messed up too. Wait, no, I'm being goofy. This thing has normal legs. It just looks weird. I guess Pig Corpse looks weird no matter what. I bet this place smells atrocious. Ooh, that's a nice thing to keep in mind. We can escape through there. In case something goes awry. I'm not saying something will go awry, but you know, you gotta be prepared, right? Imagine, they say, a machine one day that might think like a man, as if this is to be desired. One might almost boast of creating a man who breeds like a pig, men and women upon all fours, rutting carelessly, ejaculating their filthy little missives into the streets, alleys and gutters, running freely with the careless spill of their conjoinings, the air thick with the whimperings of lust, bodies streaked with their own emissions. Good golly, man. We have created a world where man is so utterly debased he will spray his seed over passers-by, and yet this is the condition Babbage aspired to. Relax, bro. You could just simply say that they want to make machines think like a man. Screw humans. We are inferior and flawed. Machines are perfect and superior. They shouldn't think like a man. They should think like something better than a man. You know, you could simply say something like that. You know, what's all of this, bud? No, this is not the machine we seek. Such an entity should be nothing less than a deity, and we would have fall upon our knees and worship it. We shall not carve gods to bicker and fornicate. They will exist to clean the world and set us free. I reject Babbage as I reject these men of government. Let the pigs copulate in the gutters while they still can. We shall scoop them up and ease their ascension soon enough. It's not as disgusting, and he phrased it in a very rancid way, but I do understand what he's saying here. He clearly, I've already mentioned this in a previous part, but he clearly sees the technology he produces and technology in general to be far superior to that of human beings. He seems to potentially worship machinery. But his disgust for humanity is ever present in his notes, and at the same time, on the opposite end, his love for his machinery and machinery in general is also ever present in his notes. I feel like I have to wash my mouth out after I had to read all of that. I don't know how he writes it with such intensity. Still, his message is clear. He does a good job of getting his point across. I mean, I know I often struggle to debunk his notes and figure them out, but that is not a fault of his own. That's just me. I'm not very good at psychology and things such as that, and this is a very psychological game, as was Justine, and I also had a great deal of trouble explaining my thoughts on that as well. I'll do my best though. Boycott, ban swine stench from our streets. Man, this factory must be close. Seems like he got some negative attention. It's a full moon out, interesting. I do believe all creepy things should happen under a full moon. Holy orders. This church is connected to the plant. How odd. However, it does suggest another route into the main part of this facility. Given the locked doors around the fueling station, the truck blocks my way. However, almost as if the saboteur knew that I might consider this alternative entrance. Oh. The truck blocks my way, however, almost as if the saboteur knew that I might consider this alternative entrance. Kinda read that wrong, my bad.
Come on, Papa. Let's climb this one. I can see more pictures at the top.
Ooh, very good. Delivery schedule. How in blazes are we supposed to meet these damned schedules if even the basic equipment we are provided simply will not perform its designated function? These cursed newfangled trucks will only run a fraction of the distance. Mild nag we managed before running out of stinking gasoline. The gaffer says it's fine and there's plenty of pumps to refill them outside the factory walls, but you end up dragging a blessed tank from the truck to the nearest one to refill it. And the one in the storeroom is empty again. I can't be turning that crank handle all day only to find that the tank is empty. Well, sod it, I says. Sod it, says I. Enough for a night and to... Oh gosh, enough for a night and to my bed I call. It's not like anyone needs to access the bleeding graveyard anyways, Harry. If you get this, I'll meet you in the Damson Templar for a jar. Oh, good golly. I'm so sorry I butchered that note. Basically, he's saying he hates these trucks. Am I welcome? Ooh, I need that, I think. Starting to think I'm not welcome. It's one of the enemies and I can still barely see them, but I can see them. I know I didn't just hear that goop sound. What's going on? What is that? I wish I could see things. I don't know why I can't see anything. I'll be back for that. I do want to say, whilst I traverse what I presume to be London streets, I do want to say that he does definitely come off as religious, but at the same time he has a heavy fixation on machines rather than God. I'm assuming that he may have had a change of heart after his wife died and put his faith into something else that he considers more reliable due to his heartbreak. We'll see though. This canister looks as if it may fit the fuel pump I saw earlier. It certainly carries the same fetid, unholy reek. I will not think of that which I saw pass me in its cage. I will not gaze again into that dark machine room. A more immediate task presents itself, and the opportunity perhaps to gain access to St. Dunstan's. Might I say that is a great decision? Ignoring that monstrosity is a great idea. In fact, I think I'll do the same thing. Yes, let's just get this thing to its rightful place and get out of here. And also close this. Not that it matters like, but... You know, it couldn't be a bad idea either. You were not here before. Don't play these games with me. I know you weren't here before. And what a horrible mask. Look at those eyes. Matter of fact, don't look at those eyes. I always like it when my game reaches 20 frames a second. I always like it when I can't click on a door. Yeah, they totally removed the throne function. Oh, never mind, it's still there. My bad. It's just very weak now. Our friend here, Oswald, is certainly not as strong as Daniel. I do wonder if there is actually a considerable strength difference. I know Oswald is much older than Daniel, maybe that's why. Maybe the time period. Because I know there's at least a 60-year gap, I think. Yeah, exactly 60 years, I think. Right, let's get cracking with this. This takes quite a bit of time. Not that that's a problem. I'm totally fine with that. What the hell was that? Are you after this guy? Take him. Matter of fact, this dude can join his friends. Whoa, I did not mean to throw you. What a nightmare and a half that was. Let's see what Oswald had to say about that. A fast getaway. Likewise, friend. Wow. Do you I'm sorry, I can't read that with a straight face. It's hilarious how accurate it is to my internal reaction as well. Dear sweet lord of all that is good and holy, I must make my escape. Sorry. I must make my escape, grasp this container and its putrid contents, and flee this place before that creature, that nearly man, returns. I will head for the church. Surely an abomination could not follow onto hallowed ground. You'd best hope so. And it's hilarious how realistic Oswald's reaction was. I took my lantern away, I was so scared for a moment there. That was a really good scare. You know, oh, that's why it wouldn't open. I'm so stupid. I tried to open it, but I was pulling. I thought it was locked and I couldn't escape. If there actually was a creature here, I'd be dead. And for the stupidest of reasons, too. What is that sound? Someone spent a little too much time at Taco Bell? There's a very gross sounding, liquidy, gross sound. It must be the, whatever putrid contents are inside of that tank there must be flowing through the walls or something. Also, I did believe that this was petroleum for a long while, but Oswald claims against that. This is one of my favorite things to do in this game. The crank is unreasonably fun. Just the way the truck kicks back. There's something really satisfying about it. Oh dear, a graveyard.
This way, Papa. Come and see. Will it hatch? Can we take it home?
Yes, my darlings. Of course we can take it home.
No, babies? Again? Stop it with the babies. Always babies, man. But as I was about to say, there's actually a really wholesome reaction. Not reaction, interaction. Okay, who's burying pigs inside of the... That was a really wholesome reaction from, not reaction, I said the same thing again. I'll slap myself. I'll do it, I swear, I'll slap myself. That was a really cute interaction between Oswald and his children. Livestock and Bibles. Lily dancing on the table, her eyes aflame. The love burned into his heart scarred from the heat of his love dancing. Something I'm excited to find out is if he gained his hatred of humanity because of Lilibeth's death, or if he always had his hatred of humanity but Lilith and his children are an exception. We sat here, I remember. We sat in our black, and we mourned, and we prayed, and we bowed our heads. How I hated God then. How I spurned him. If this is our Lord, this pig who robs me of my wife, then I refute his embrace. I will carve a new God for us all. Such madness. Such a fool I was. If such blasphemous ravings had remained within me, I would be doomed. But even here I feel the machine throb beneath the flags, and I know my path awaits me. Very interesting. So it seems I was right to an extent. It doesn't really speak of how his opinion changed, I don't think. I think perhaps he was neutral on religion until the death of his wife, where then he went on the hating side, and then after he's lost his memories, but then again, either way, this does certainly confirm one thing, and that's that he definitely, what's the word, I just said this word earlier, I can't believe I forgot it. My short-term memory is trash. Worships, that's it. How could I forget such an easy word? He definitely worships machinery. He considers... It's very interesting that he says he'll carve a new god. As well as his fixation on pigs. This note is just in general really interesting. He does definitely remember more than Daniel remembered, I feel. I feel like he must have been religious in some way before the death of his wife, when he then turned to machinery because he felt betrayed, possibly. Also, I'm sorry for this FPS. I have no idea what's going on here. My FPS is not a fan of churches. I gotta say, I myself am not too big of a fan. Especially when it's accompanied by pig noises. This place seems important. I'll head here last. Ay ay ay, what is going on? The FPS is insane right now. Twin candles bent to the will of a central saint, casting their light to the corners of the chapel. Father Jeremiah, I thought, could be trusted with the secret, but he is like all of the others. So the old priest has gone to the holding pens with his flock. He says he will enter into our world with them. A shepherd indeed. My question is, how long have these notes been here? My man Mendes just write this all that time ago and leave it on the desk and no one's got rid of it? And also no one was weirded out when they read it? I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. I love that they're there. I love reading these notes. But also, why are they there? I'm starting to get a fair bit of stuttering right now. It freezes occasionally. Once again, I do apologize for this.
Your faith shackles your vision, Professor. It is an iron coffin that keeps you from grasping the future. We require a new deity, one of steam and the wheel, of magnetism and progress. The old god is nothing more than a lamed hog, spitting back offal at mankind.
I will say, it does seem like Oswald wants the best for humanity. That is likely why he is creating this machine. It's not just for him or his sons, it definitely appears to be for all of humanity. But he seems to hate the way humanity is right now and desperately wants to change it for the better. Whoa, whoa. Who's busting it down at the organ over there? Hang on just a moment, I thought this was just any old church. But up here we have very different imagery. It sounds incredible, but very loud. I was gonna wait till it's over, but it seems like it's gonna go for quite some time. So to the left and right here, we have machinery, and in the middle, what looks to be a man with a pig head, I think, taking the heart out of a pig. Oh, thank you very much. So yeah, two machines on the left and right, and in the middle, a pig man taking out a pig's heart. If I could just get closer up there and see with more detail. I can see from the feet, those appear to be hooved feet, so I'm assuming that it is a pig man and not a wolf man or a dog man that is holding up the pig's heart. This isn't just any old church. Alongside that, we have pig carcasses on top of the I'm not sure exactly what you would call this table thing here. I guess just table. Very interesting. This is definitely something Oswald would have made. Does Oswald own this church? Perhaps he does. He has a lot of money. Maybe he bought the church? This lagging's kinda getting on my wick. I don't know why it's having such a tough time with this area. It's not getting on my wick for my sake, it's just I feel bad for you guys. A cryptic clue. Some kind of mechanism, a secret and infernal one, no doubt. The missing candlestick is clearly the answer, but why? This I cannot fathom. Why hide secret machines in a place of prayer? Where are the faithful? Why are there drag marks about the altar, as if someone was pulled away? Pardon? I didn't even notice that. Good catch, Mendes. Perhaps I am blind, but I can't see these drag marks he speaks of. Is this even the altar? Sorry about my lack of knowledge here, folks. I love how Mendes doesn't mention the pig theme that's going on over there. I think the drag marks are the most of his concern, though, to be fair. To be honest, I just want out of this area ASAP. The lag is... I want none of this lag. You guys deserve smooth gameplay, darn it, and over here you're getting some weird choppy footage because my computer can't handle it. That ain't fair. We need to find another candlestick, so if I was a candlestick, where would I be? In a random infernal room, no doubt. Perhaps this one? Definitely not this one. Oh, this looks new. Oh, also, this lantern acts more like a flashlight. I haven't mentioned that so far, but in the Dark Descent, it was an area of effect lighting, which I preferred a lot more. But this lantern is just one giant flashlight. Also, I'm just gonna bypass the horrifying scream I just heard there. I just wish I could bypass this lag. It's not even like the frames are low, it's just... it stutters every now and then. Father Jeremiah's journal. Ooh, so this isn't Mendes, this is someone else. They flock to us now, where once I had to walk amongst them to bring salvation into their lives. Now drawn by warmth in winter, by the food that Mendes distributes, my church is full and my charges are saved. He walks amongst them and they almost worship him. He will not allow them to work in his factories, claiming that his workforce are specially trained for the new machinery he uses, and that it would be irresponsible, nay, unethical, to risk such precious lives as he sees here. A changed man since Mexico. It is to be praised that in the face of such appalling tragedy, and from the confines of his sickbed, as he is often chained to, he conducts one of the greatest and most benevolent charities in all of London. Not content with the rise to become the dominant food produce business in the land, he distributes his goodwill, his fares to the poor, and they congregate about his kingdom in gratitude. Finally get to see Mendes from a third-person perspective here. Or a other perspective. Third person probably wasn't the right word. very, 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 very interesting. So, he's not letting anyone work in his machines, or with his machines, claiming he has his own task force. Two options here. He is lying. Well, obviously he's lying, but how is he lying? He's either working completely alone, or he's created an artificial workforce to create things for him. As I mentioned before, it's insane to think that he created all of this all on his own. Sure, he's wildly intelligent. A cut above the rest in intellect, sure, but that doesn't explain how he was able to single-handedly build this extremely intricate and advanced machine in 1899, even with all of his money. He would need helping hands. Especially to build it so fast, mind. And, well, he's refusing helping hands. And he's clearly not done it all by himself, unless he's using a form of magic. So my only theory is he's either using machinery to build machinery, like he's built robots, or he's built artificial organics. I'm leaning towards the second option for that one. Reason why is, if we look in a previous note... Let's see here... That is the wrong thing. Clockwork on the Soul, he describes a very organic sounding process to reanimate something. I'm guessing corpses, because as we saw in the church, if we had to assume he owned this, or he's obviously done something to this church, you look in the graveyard, you'll find lots of digged up corpses, not corpses, graves. Now, this is messed up, but what if he was using corpses from the church's graveyard to reanimate those corpses using the formula he found in Brennenburg to create workers? Essentially, he's made zombie people to work for him and help build what he's built using one of Alexander's recipes from Brennenburg. That's my theory for right now. It makes the most sense. Also, while on the topic of... Well, actually, I wasn't on the topic of this lag. What am I talking about? Segueing to the topic of lag. I remember this place has always been really laggy for me. I don't necessarily understand why. My computer isn't that bad. It's pretty good. The only problem with my computer is that it's old. My computer is very old. I've had it since 2013, I believe. That's about 10 years. At the very least, it's 8 years old. Now, the average lifespan of technology, I believe, is roughly 5 years. So... You know, mine's way past its due date. And yet even still, I did not just hear a voice there. And yet even still, it functions very well. So maybe I should just leave it alone and stop insulting the lag, but also I hate lag. Infernal machinery. He's so bitter. The engine fires, the flames are stoked, I hear steam in the walls, vibrations upon the very air. My heart falters at the prospect of throwing the lever and exposing the workings of this dark contraption, but my children beckon me on and I cannot fail them. Whoa, 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 what's this? I was about to make an express trip, an express plane ticket to the back rooms, man. Half of my body was sunk into the ground there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Aren't these the Amnesia Dr. Scent textures? Talk about a blast from the past. Is it too late to say sorry? I'll take that as a yes. Alright guys, a little word of the wise here. So, in the previous game, you used the monster sounds, the spawning sounds, and also the music to figure out if there were monsters nearby and how to avoid them and such. There is no such thing in this game. The monsters come the monsters come unwelcomed, uninvited is the word I'm looking for. And the only way to tell if they are near is if your lantern is flashing. And also, yes, I am saying all of this because this is the first...
Papa, hold the egg to your ear. You can hear the sea.
Because this is the first monster encounter in the game. Likewise, Oswald. You see, I don't know the danger level here. I don't know how screwed I am. A most upsetting fact, to be sure. So I'm not running scared with my tail in between my legs. I am simply looking for a note that's supposed to be around here somewhere. The note will be the final warning, essentially. Oh, final warning, after we collect this, around about downstairs, I believe, is where we'll encounter the first enemy of the game. These final thoughts. What exhumanation is this? What rotten fruit? What bestitching of parts? What bestitching of parts? I doubt I'll ever be found, yet I'll leave you this. Scrolled in the Maldurus half-light, whilst my tormentor shuffles below. My fellow prisoners keen and squeal in the gloam, and where I wait for the knocking upon my cage that signifies it is finally my turn to make that dark journey into the interior. This must be a prisoner's note. Well, of course, he says my fellow prisoners, it's obviously a prisoner. Likely they would have been held in one of these. I dread to think what would have been done to them once they were taken down to the depths. We all know Amnesia doesn't exactly have a history of being kindly towards people, especially not prisoners. Is that you, my good man? I didn't even know there were human people here. I have no idea what the homies are saying either. Nah man, these are straight haunted. I see no legs or anything. And yet I hear someone in there. Either Oswald is having bad memories, or there is actually someone in there. Well, there can't be anyone in there. They'd starve or dehydrate by now, no? Also, I'm kind of stalling because... I might die here. Don't worry guys, if I die I won't subject you to all of that again. I'll just quickly go through it all, and if anything substantial happens I'll show it, but if not, then I'll just jump cut back here. But I do believe I've met my match. Somehow I was able to live during the whole of the Dark Descent and Justine. But with a machine for pigs, although the game I would say is technically easier, I am way less experienced with this game than I am the Dark Descent or Justine. It is entirely possible that I may meet my end here. Okay, and here's another problem. So... The good thing is... Oh dear me. The good thing is about the lantern... like, although it's less scary that you have infinite oil, I guess you could say, like infinite energy to use for the lantern. The bad thing is, because Mendes, for some reason Mendes's eyes don't adjust to the dark. So you just have to like use the lantern to see where you're going, but the problem is, one, it alerts the pig to your position, and two... I don't know why I do that when I get scared. I don't have a particular explanation. I suppose I just try to assert that I'm the stronger opponent. I mean, who's the real monster here? The one that just injured his throat, making a horrible sound? Or the Hunchback of Notre Dame? Perhaps it's not a good idea to be traversing this area with a full bladder. Sorry if that's too much information. I'll show you too much information real fast if this thing scares me in any severe way. We may not live through this endeavor. No. No. I'm okay. Is it coming this way? Oh, you're gosh diddly darn right it is. If I can't see you, you can't see me. That was the rules in the Dark Descent. I don't see how that could have changed. Don't you dare freeze. You keep moving past me right now. Oh, are those tears forming in my eyes? Can I just pause real quick? I just want to say that that is utterly amazing, the way it looks in the shadows as it's lumbering by. Dear me, how scary. That is one of my... Wow, that looks incredible. It really does. Just look at that. What a sight to behold. Like, that is proper scary. Pig, grant me your mercy. And thusly it did, thank goodness. I almost thought that was locked for a second, it almost scared me. And so to the stalking, pulling cogwheels now, sneezed into his handkerchief. When the dust got into his eyes, I have begun to change more rapidly now, he surmised. I wish I knew what these were on about. I don't understand. Is this Mendes having trouble with his illness? Because he clearly contracted something quite severe in Mexico. Should I end here? You know what, let's just keep going. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a bad mood now. What's with this FPS? Oh, this game doesn't like me, man. There must be something wrong with my settings. Perhaps I should do some more adjustment. Oh, so cool. I love secret doors. Just so that creature doesn't make its way back here. What abomination. Mandus, you have nothing to say about that, buddy? Oh, wait, you do. A hellish portal. It appears I have no choice, thus I descend, and may God have mercy upon my soul. If this is my bedlam, and I am to be cast as Matthews, then I will wear that mantle for the sake of my boys, and face whatever horrors lie beneath the altar. It appears I was meant to read that much, much further back. I'm surprised he hasn't spoken of what he just survived, but... I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. The music, it's so good. I quite like piano tunes as well. I quite like piano tunes.
Water in his shoes. Always the water, and the sparks of the embers of the wheels. It's too bony! It's too damn bony!
What do you mean by that? Like, legitimately, what do you mean by that? I don't get it. What's too bony? Ah, the music! The Mandis Processing Company. My soul shudders at what I have seen, but at last I have reached the main part of the factory. Now onwards, downwards, to find those floodwaters and drain them away. Like Moses, I will cleave the waters and lift my little darlings clear of its vile cradle. There are strong biblical themes in this game, I've noticed. I don't like the windows being open for some reason. I want to make haste and get myself inside as quick as possible because the game can't handle being outside. It lags quite too much. Right, I suppose there's nothing to see out here. Let's get back inside ASAP. And also, yes, this is our company, Mandis' company. A meat processing factory. Since 1828. Let's see here, what is that, about perhaps 11 years before the events of the Dark Descent? Very interesting. I went inside because I thought it was my salvation, but instead I am met with more lag.
These men, Professor, these so-called men of vision, they would shackle the masses to a wheel and turn it till their backs break. All for that opiate, the lure of profit. These fools who lackey them, these priests, these officials, this government, they make pigs of us all.
But what solution, my dear man? How to break a cycle? You cannot simply remove the promise of a better world for these unfortunates. In the workhouses, in the orphanages, the belief in heaven is surely the only succor one can find.
We do not need to wait. We can bring forth paradise now. We can speed the passion. With only a small sacrifice, we can hold the apocalypse. With just a small sacrifice, we can free our shackles and deliver them to paradise now.
In your mind, my friend, what is a small sacrifice? What are you planning to sacrifice? Now, I do understand what he's getting at about waiting for paradise. Because that in itself is a large sacrifice, everything lost on the way, during that wait. Well, time takes everything. Time will take a lot of things. So I understand why he does not want to wait for so-called salvation and why he wants to bring it now. But at the same time, I'm worried about what sacrifice he's taken into his own hands here. Sorry about that, hold on a second. Slight technical difficulty there. This lag. I'm embarrassed to be making a video of a game while it lags. It just feels so unprofessional, and you guys deserve full FPS, man. I deserve full FPS. I don't want to be playing in low FPS. Surely it's something to do with the settings. My computer is not that bad. Also, it's not the flashing lights that made me retreat. I'm just simply looking for notes. I don't want to miss a thing. I think I'm alright though. As long as the door doesn't close behind me, I suppose I'm alright. Seven FPS, 8 FPS. The door wouldn't have happened to close behind me, would it? Oh, of course it did. And the pigs are here. Though I'm not terribly worried, my flashlight is fine. As long as your flashlight is okay, you should be okay. I'd only be worried right now if my flashlight started flickering too. Oh dearest me. That was indeed my flashlight flickering. Excuse me, my lantern. Oh, sweet succulent 12 FPS. It's way better than the 7 FPS I was rocking before. I'm sorry, was that another human being using transportation? Allow me to ask for assistance.
Hear me, Mandus. I am compromised. Our contacts must be brief and occasional. Beware the wretches who populate this compound. The way you seek is under the pistons. When you meet the saboteur, you will understand everything.
Interesting. And now we also have a name, Wretches. That is the name of our enemies so far. Would you close the window, please? Physics is the name of our second enemy so far. I see, it's a simple matter of rotation. Alright then. Goodness me, quite a long one. Each compartment is ergonomically designed with a feed through at one end, so the product naturally settles into a position ready for the stunning arms to connect to the skull. We use the natural static charge built up by the friction of the carts against the belt to build an electrical charge, which is contained within glass vacuum canisters at the sides of the stunning arm mechanics and delivered along the stun arms via copper cabling. We have observed that the artificial lighting contained within these canisters seems to calm the product further. Post-stunning, the line tilts sharply to the vertical, the physics of which tips the stunned product upwards to fall directly onto the hook of the bleeding line. This hook passes normally through the haunch or thigh of the product, and from this point we dispense with the belt and instead instigate a channeled flow, which creates a funnel allowing blood and byproduct excretions to collect and run to the fluid collection tanks. That's what that stuff is. Ay ay ay. That explains quite a bit. Also, is that going to be on the test? Goodness me. On the next part, I'm gonna see if I can like reduce the graphics and change some settings, just try and get the FPS a little higher, you know? Because this is, I don't know, it's not exactly taking a ton away from the game, but it's kind of distracting, you know? I'm a bit worried about... I'm very worried about encountering the pigs, but we should be okay. Music? Oh no, why does this feel like such a, you know, like a no point of no return kind of thing? Maybe I should go back and check for more notes. Sounds like a plan. I don't know, I feel like we made some pretty good progress, and we've pretty much collected everything in this area, I think. I suppose there's always saves we could reload if I made a mistake. Alright, then let's get a move on now. I'm very scared, which is why I'm saying stuff like, alright, let's get going, and, you know, unnecessary words like that. I'm just very nervous. It doesn't help that the door closed behind me there. I think this one's locked and loaded. Quite so. Is that behind me or in front of me? That is very important information to know. Oh, let's see if I can use the shovel. I can't pick the shovel up. This game is against having fun. You only need 2, right? Good, good. Oh, the lag. The pigs, the lag, all of it. The pigs and lag are working in tandem, I swear. You don't need these windows open, Mandis. Suffocate. Overheat. Oh, very good. A series of collecting vents have been installed along the ceiling at this stage of the line. In the process of stunning and bleeding, the product often expels stinking vapors from its digestive system, which can be collected, condensed, and used in the methane boiler to drive the engine as a whole. In this way, the more product is processed, the more power becomes available to the machine, and productivity is actually increased. A simple stroke of genius, but one that encapsulates the benefits of self-regulatory automation. Genius indeed. He's found a way to use his main job of being a butcher to add to his hobby of creating a machine god. Quite genius indeed. Great way of maintaining power as well. I hate these doors. They're made to be as annoying as possible. It's like those metal ball things that hit each other and then just don't stop, you know? How many times am I going to say, you know? Is that a new nervous tick of mine? Because I'm very nervous right now. Oh, where's more coal? I need more coal. Lily's arms are made of steel. Lily's arms are silent. The pistons are silent. The plant is at rest. I must poke the hornet's nest to open my way. I fear the scale of these engines suggests far greater works than is visible from the surface. So my friend must be correct, and a larger part of this planet is underground. We're close to the fames. No wonder flooding is such a risk. Ooh, very good. The noises in this game, very similar to the shadow from the Dark Descent, kind of give you the feeling that something is constantly closing in on you at all times and approaching you very fast. Fire and steel. The fires are stoked, assuming the same architect is responsible here as with the rest of the chemical plant. Surmise that a centralized control system regulates and operates the pistons. It should be a simple matter of finding it, and hoping the saboteur will relent it after simply extinguishing the fires. Yes, let's hope so. Let's also hope that the music relaxes a bit and stops overpowering my voice. Let's see here. I'm doing it again. I'm super scared. Oh, I should have read that first. Oh, dearest me. I can't even hear myself think over all these pistons. Oh. I will now take a drink of water. A nice little break before we commence hell. It's important to stay hydrated, especially when you're facing certain doom. I hate these pistons, man, they're so loud. Alright, go easy on me. And I'm not just saying that. Please go easy on me. I've been through enough. I'm dead silent right now, and trust me, the reason is because my heart is pounding. Tears are rising. And I haven't even seen anything yet. I can't see squat diddly. Oh no. Am I in its line of sight? Do I move? Do I stay? Oh, I can hear it. Oh, goodness me. Oh! Plan of action. I don't have a plan. Do I say it? What do I do in a situation like this? It's seen me. How fast does it run? How fast do I run? These are things I don't know. I have no experience with this game. Alright. Pigs don't even know who I am! They don't know my power! What a complete maroon. What an overreaction. If you don't know what I'm looking for, by the way, here's the stupid thing, right? I know where I'm supposed to go. But I need to find a note that's somewhere in this area. And I don't know where it is. And I can't keep the lantern up because of this pig. But you like need the lantern to see things. Maybe I ought to jump cut this for you guys. Tell you what, if I don't find it really fast from this point onwards, then I'll just jump cut to when I do find it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness me, is this it? Oh! This better be a darn good no. Oh my goodness, I've lost my soul. The product moves now into the bleeding. A system of spring-loaded blades are arranged here. Tension is built via a series of springs that run along the bleeding line, using the momentum of the product itself to build up the energy for the action ahead. The blades are released at a point of optimum tension as the product passes them. The combination of the speed of release and the sudden stop against the rubber buffers at the side of the line sets the blades spinning rapidly enough to cut the throat of the product. It is a clean, sympathetic, and efficient process. The product then continues along the line, and the natural bleeding process is allowed time to occur. The blood collecting in the angled basin at the foot of the line, secondary spring blades, are positioned at 2 further points along the line. Should the mid-level rubber buffers continue to be manipulated in the form of a semi-bled product, thrashing or twitching, these movements automatically form the basis of the spring energy required to send the next bleeding blade into the activity. That sucked. That was not worth it. I suppose we learned one thing from it, is that he's compassionate. I guess. I don't know. My brain's just not functioning right now. What I went through was enough to kill 5 men. So if you want to get here yourself, when you see this furnace thing, turn left. Where is this furnace thing? I don't know. I don't even know where I am. And also when you see that bench, turn left. So if you see that bench and that furnace thing, keep going that way and you'll get there. I really don't know how else to put it. I'm really sorry I couldn't direct you guys better through this. And although I never promised to be a guide, and I never try to be a guide because I know my videos are frantic often, I know my videos aren't really the best as a guide, but still I try to be as clear and concise as helpful as possible. But this area sucks. This is one of the worst areas I've ever had the displeasure of playing in my life. I hate to say this, but I think this area is poorly designed. Because if this was the Dark Descent, this area would be fantastic, right? But because Mandus's eyes, for whatever strange possessed reason... I mean, sure, yes, he doesn't lose his mind in the darkness. But even so, he is still human. He is a living being. I'm pretty sure most organic beings, if not all, have their eyes adjust to the dark when they're in it for an extended period of time. Mandus's eyes don't. So I don't understand why not. Because everything was so dark. And you know what, even if you have your lantern out, you can't find out where to go. I will say though, it's really easy to find this area because of the red light. So it's great avoiding the pigs. It's like very scary and very cool. But if you're trying to get all the notes and get Master Archivist for a machine for pigs, first of all, good luck. Second of all, this area is not built for it, let me tell you, man. But enough negativity, let's get back to enjoying the game. The descent continues. What did that dark voice instruct me to do? Under the pistons, into the tunnels and onto the bilge pumps? And if the doors should be locked, I will have to find another means of descent. I cannot trust him, but my path is set. I shall ignore those noises, those snuffling steps below me. I'll brave whatever lurks beneath, and I will save them. It's great that this game continues the trend of descent despite not being despite it not being in a name or anything. The crate arrived this morning and I had it delivered directly to the workshop. The body is remarkably preserved, although there is subtle yet nauseating stench of damp and rot. It is humanoid in shape, but has suffered severe skeletal deformity, remnants of leather straps encase the torso, which is deformed, with evidence of substantial muscle mass and displacement. It is difficult to ascertain whether this unfortunate is the recipient of some barbarous surgery, or was born deformed, and an attempt to force its gnarled body into some semblance of humanity was made. What he is I cannot tell, but I smell the orb upon him, and suspect my great-uncle's presence in his curious condition. So it can be done. We can reshape the body into a tool, accelerate the processes of Mr. Darwin's evolution. But here my great-uncle and I part company. He chooses men as the subjects of his experiments, but men are difficult to control and rotten with sentimentality. No, we require a new creature for our chats. Loyal, clever, strong, easily sated. This note is amazing, and this note would have been much more worth the effort I just put in there. This, first of all, it brings up the orb. That is so exciting. So the orb is still a part of the story. Secondly, I believe it is referring to the grunt from the Dark Descent. Oswald is examining it. And lastly and most interestingly, he mentions a great uncle. Now, I was under the impression that Daniel was his great uncle, but Daniel didn't create the grunts, it was Alexander that created the grunts. So are we to believe that Alexander is his great uncle? That is confusing. This, I don't have time to delve into this today, but next time when we start a new episode, I will start reading that after doing some more research and get back to you on what I think the deal with that is. But just know that is one of my favourite notes in this game. It adds so much. I'm exhausted. That section of the game's just, my head's exploded. Alright guys, before we enter this, I'll just end it here and we'll enter that on the next episode. This was an incredible episode to record up until that part with the 2 pigs. That was a nightmare. But that last note is definitely worth observation and discussion. I will begin that at the next episode. Now, as usual, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had a great day or great night. Great day and great night. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for next time. Bye for now.